Hello and welcome back to Billy Ho Sports. Churchill Downs did a good job of boosting up Stephen Foster Stakes Day. It was pretty much a hapless looking grade three stakes back in the 90s, but then got it bumped up after hard work by the management team there. And we got a really great card put together over the last few years. And now it's one of the premier race days in all the summer meets. And it's now offering Stephen Foster has a purse of $1 million, which draws some of the best older horses from all over the United States. We'll talk about those today. Probable field coming up. All the commenters to the Stephen Foster week videos obviously go into the big draw for a $20 split the pot bet. We're going to do two, one for this particular race, the Stephen Foster, and then a second one for any of the undercard races that we so choose. So if we win the bet, which I pay for, then we split the pot. So $20 bet. Subscribe to the channel to be eligible. Click that like button, and to gain entry, leave a comment and use the hashtag BHS and give me your winner of said Stephen Foster. And here's a first look at the possible field. We're going 9 furlongs. This is a Breeders' Cup Challenge race, so win and you're in. Invite to the Classic, which is always nice. We're going to start with Hit Show from Brad Cox Barn, a seasoned contender from the Brad Cox stables. Nice run through the Derby Trail when he was 3, but he didn't really hit his groove to the 4-year-old campaign when he ran off 3 straight graded stakes victories, 3 different racetracks. That was pretty solid. Third in the Clark Stakes, was pushed back to a fifth for a DQ. But by far the signature win of his career was in Dubai when he won at monster odds, I like 40-1 or something. And that Dubai World Cup win was just huge for his career. And obviously the connections, not only the money, but the prestige and all that good. He's been off since that April 5th race, but he has been working at Churchill Downs. So if he came back from Dubai in good order and had plenty of time to reacclimate, so he should be just fine. Sierra Leone is another possible, the hard charging Derby winner, and I'll explain why in a second. But runner up in the Derby, Breeders' Cup champion, we all remember, but the 2025 debut was a little bit froggy in a spot he probably should have crushed the field. He ran a pretty average third place, not very much interest, and really no threat to win in a grade three New Orleans Classic. He was put on Lasix for the first time, which, any explanation that's fine. They often do that as a precaution, but I read up that he actually had a foot abscess going all the way back to February. That kept him out of the Saudi Cup. So maybe he was still dealing with some foot issues, but I mean, I can't imagine Chad Brown entering him in the New Orleans Classic if he's having a problem with his foot. So horses run with that kind of minor issue very often. So not really sure if that's an excuse or not for that dud, but he's been working at Belmont 3 straight 4 furlong workouts in June, tuning up for the return, eyeing that statement win. He could get it here if he goes, but he has scratched out of a couple of opportunities. I believe they were going to target the Oaklawn handicap for this horse, but then I guess they decided to go ahead and go in the at fairgrounds, but they skipped the Oaklawn race. So the next horse I wanted to talk about was Mystic Dan, our Kentucky Derby hero from Derby 150. He returned in similar fashion, grade three blame stakes, same jock, same everything. Pulled a carbon copy of his Derby win. Brilliant ride by Brian Hernandez, and he just turns that corner so sharp. And I mean, he just peels right into that lane one, right on the rail. Because he kind of struggled after the Derby last year. I'm sure you were well documented on that. But he did find his form once again in his groove, so to speak, at Oaklawn Park prior to the Blame Stakes when he lost a close battle with Saudi Crown by just a nose or a neck. But he did, most recently, he did breeze 5 furlongs in a minute flat. So probably a fan favorite, but with this field looking like it's going to shape up, he still could go overlooked a bit. And we already know what the game plan is. So hit that rail and try to get it done again. So Mystic Dan, we could get value on if it works out this way. Mindframe is looking to knock on the door in this older horse division. He's firing off pretty well in 2025. I mean, he pretty much beat us pretty soft grade two field in the Gulfstream Park Mile off the layoff, first off the layoff, but the grade one victory in the Pat Day Mile put the division on notice. He was really impressive in that race, the way he closed. And with just six career starts, he's been pounding dirt at the spa to keep fit. Now, I know he does show immaturity at times. He probably should have won uh, the Preakness last year if he hadn't have drifted out and allowed the horse on the inside to get there on him. So no doubt he's got the talent to play with the big boys. So we'll see what he's got. Now, one that probably won't be double digits odds is First Mission. This one, Godolphin horse seems to be back on track after some setbacks. Showed some good speed in the Oaklawn handicap, good tactical speed. Was able to close that victory out over a very good banishing, and we saw how good that horse was. So a win versus this group would signal that he's arrived in that form that Brad Cox has been looking for and training him toward. So he's fired off five solid works at Churchill Downs coming into the race. So he could offer a little bit of value too as a horse that might be slightly overlooked by some of these other ones. Now we got Skippy Longstocking and the elder statesman battle tested. What can you say about old Skippy? First, I had to double check to make sure he's only attempted this race once, but the 2024 was his first try in the Stephen Foster. I feel like he was a perennial Stephen Foster contender, like he's been at the last five because he's like 7 or 8 years old or something. I forgot how old he is, but he's a couple years older than the 4 year olds. Anyway, third place finish, further showing how consistent. I mean, he never seems to be worse than third. Now he did catch a pretty easy field in the Hollywood Gold Cup, had an easy win there, largely due to the weak field, but nine graded stakes wins in his career. So, but he's yet to taste that grade one accolade. So Skippy Longstocking looking to get that grade one victory in the Stephen Foster. Now, I'm not really sure. I did have was going to say some words about Dragon Guard, who I thought would enter the race, but he now looks unlikely to go. But if he does go, he'd probably be somewhere in the middle of the field, more of a front runner, and probably a couple tiers lower than the top dogs. But pace is definitely going to matter. Going back and looking at the last several editions, the 2024 version of the Stephen Foster was on the slower side. They ran a 24 and then a 48 for the opening quarter half, but the last three editions went in more like 23:46. And now I know they did run the 2023 edition at Ellis Park, but I went beyond that and I looked all the way back to 2021 and they were still running swifter fractions. So this race is going to go 23:46 and change probably. I wonder if Mystic Dan goes overlooked again. There are some serious contenders in here. Then you have Hit Show. A lot of them like to have that, like Mystic Dan, Hit Show. Skippy is more forwardly placed, so Skippy could be up there amongst the front runners. But horses like First Mission, and even Gould's Gold, Mindframe, like to stalk. So I don't know who's going to be wanting to get out on the lead. I don't think it's Mystic Dan by any stretch. But maybe First Mission by default because I think First Mission has had tendencies to do that. But this is just a first look. I mean, horses like First Mission, Sierra Leone. Once we get the definitive entries in which the post positions they're drawn in, we'll know a lot more. But this is kind of just a first look, get to know the field. I wanted to get the video out there so you can start getting those comments in, and we'll have some good draws for the split the pot. So best of luck this weekend if you're playing, and we'll see you soon.